really began to ask myself, what is the root of this issue with Black people? Like, is someone hiding something from us? Like the people who rule over us? Because I don't know, I'm getting like this feeling that it goes a lot deeper than we think, a lot more spiritual. Look what Deuteronomy 28 says. And the Lord will take you back to Egypt in ships by the way of which I said to you, you shall never see it again. And there you shall be offered for sale to your enemies as male and female slaves, but no one will buy you. Do you think it's possible that he says Egypt, he's actually talking about bondage and oppression? That when God says you are going to go back to Egypt, he's actually talking about returning to the bitter life of slavery and oppression. And when he says no one will buy you, do you think it means suffering will be absolute? There will be no one to rescue or redeem you from your captors? And that this warning is a punishment or a curse for turning away from God and breaking his laws. You see, because now when I go back to reanalyze everything about the slavery, about the Blacks, about them being enslaved, them being oppressed, they kind of fit the description a lot more, the description of the Israelites in the Bible, than those currently in the Holy Land. But this is just my theory, right? I'm just an outsider looking in. This is just my theory, my conclusion from, I don't know, reading the Bible and then looking back at history, real history, not just the history that we're taught in K through 12 here in America. In the United States, I don't know, am I getting close?
But not only that, I'll go on even further to say this, that the slave trade is actually connected to Deuteronomy 28, because the majority of the slaves that were brought to the Caribbean islands and brought to the Americas were Hebrew people, were people of Hebrew and Hebraic Israelite descent, if you will. And so if you read Deuteronomy chapter 28, it matches perfectly what happened to the Hebrew slaves, the Black Hebrew slaves, during the slave trade. It just matches it perfectly.
You guys, you need to read some old books. So check this out. I got this book called American Antiquities and Discoveries in the West. It's by Josiah Priest. And this is a reprint from 1833. And it's got some really interesting details about who the Europeans encountered when they got to the Americas. This is stuff they don't tell you in school. And so Josiah Priest goes on to quote a professor named Rathenisk. And here's what he writes. The Americans could not have sprung up from a single nation because independently of the languages, their features and complexions are as various as in Africa and in Asia. We find in America white, tawny, brown, yellow, olive, copper, even black nations as in Africa. Also dwarfs and giants, handsome and ugly, flat and aquiline noses, thick and thin lips. That's pretty interesting, huh? It also goes on to say that in Florida, the Indians there and the Choctaws worshipped a god called Yehovah or Jehovah, kind of like Jehovah. And as we're told, there wasn't a J in the ancient dialect, so kind of sounds like the God of the Bible. And that's really interesting when you consider that Christopher Columbus thought he landed in the land of Azareth, as prophesied by Esdras in 2nd Esdras. And this was the land where the 10 lost tribes of Israel were to travel to. So guys, he thought the Indians were Hebrews, part of the lost 10 tribes of Israel. History is way more interesting than we were ever taught.
The reason it matters that Jesus is black, yeah, I know what you're saying. It doesn't matter. It matters, bro. We stole an entire identity from these people. There was a race that was chosen by God, okay? When God was playing this Sims game, he chose a black character, okay? Because that most closely related and identified with his personality. He wanted to be humble. He wanted to come as a meek person. Bro, the entire Bible is a redemptive story about black people. From going from last to they're going to be first, bro.
A Gentile's confession.
Thank God my husband and I kind of looking sideways at each other. Why is that we discovered? Oh, it's bringing such joy to me. You don't even know. We didn't even know what to do with this information at first. Like, what does this mean? But, Israel, as a people, it's not a land. And the people people in Israel are not the Israelites. The so-called African Americans are God's chosen people. I'm telling the truth. The truth is all throughout the Bible, all throughout history, all throughout DNA, all throughout. Just look up Deuteronomy. If you don't have a Bible, look it up online. It's easy. There's apps. There's no excuse. If you're watching this, you have access to the Bible. Do yourself a favor. Deuteronomy 28. Read that whole chapter. Read the blessings of the curses. Blessings and the curses. And you tell me, you read the characteristics and the things that those people endured in that Bible. And you don't tell me it's not the African Americans and those that were spread across the four corners of the earth through the slave trade. You can't deny it.
How do I say this? The entire Bible is about black people. Not only was Jesus black, but every character in the Bible seems to be black too. Yeah, Zephaniah and Jeremiah and Jebediah, those all aren't white people names, okay? And Jesus wasn't some tan, partially melanated Middle Eastern person either. I'm talking straight up black dude, okay? Even in the book of Revelation, when you get the vision of Daniel, he's describing someone with feet like burnt brass and white woolly hair, and we've got the deep running water voice with the red eyes, and you guys, he's black. The Jewish people are black people, like Kanye was right. And those people yelling at the park dressed in purple about black people being the real Hebrew Israelites, they're right, okay? Like, anytime you see the word Hebrew or Israelite or Jew in the Bible, in your mind, you got to replace that with black person. So the whole Bible is going to make a lot more sense to you once you start reading it like that. But you need to let this get settled in your heart now before you get up there. So, I mean, they were literally whipping him on his way to get crucified, you guys. Crucifixion was a punishment, like, for slaves back then, and gladiators. And all the gladiators were black too. Did you know that? Like, you guys, he was sold for 30 pieces of silver. That was the maximum amount of money that a slave could be sold for. Oh, just coincidence? Above his cross, it says INRI. They were like mocking him. They were saying it says this is the king of the Jews. They're saying, like, here's the king of the black people. Look what we did to him. Why does the KKK burn crosses, you guys? The racist KKK. It's just, black people rejoice. You are God's chosen people. Like, I mean, those are some big shoes to fill, but be honored, like, feel good about that. Like, how cool. Anyway, see you later. Jesus was black.